Doll Impostor is a horror detective game in which you, the player, must figure out which one of 20 dolls is the possessed one before morning comes. If you would fail to do so, you will die. It is your job to learn the patterns of each doll, learn their likes, their dislikes, their friends, their enemies, and it's actually really fun. And as of recording moment, there's 3 different maps, and all of the maps have their own set of 20 dolls and own set of like unique events that can happen. 1, 2, 3. Hello everybody, my name is Hako and welcome into my channel. Wait. 1 sec. And I have another co-star with me. Meet Severo, and you have Pilot behind me. So, today I wanted to make a quick little video, kind of talking about or showcasing a new horror game that's actually really freaking fun. It combines the best of Phasmophobia and adds in one of the worst of my fears, which is dolls. And it's actually quite a little blast. So, come along as we take a look at it. Let's jump into a normal game and I'll give you the quick rundown. Let's start with easy just so I can show you the differences between the level. You always start on easy, and then if you complete that you unlock normal, then hard, and then nightmare, and so on. So right off the bat it tells us a couple of clues. It tells us that the possessed doll, so one of these 20 dolls are possessed, and it's our job to figure out which before the time hits 9 in the morning. If we haven't narrowed it down and found the right one, it will kill us. It likes blood and it likes to move itself. Now, just with this, we could start crossing off names. But let's first head into the house and see if we can find anything else. Now remember, this is a wholesome game. This is a nice, wholesome little game. With no spoopiness happening. Oh dear Lord. Don't touch my children. Dude, that's actually the first time I've ever seen that being written. Silence, agony. Alright, let's look for clues. We can see that Dolly, the doll, has been brutally murdered. The case has been cracked and they have been brutally slaughtered, and the blood from the doll, why does these dolls have blood? I do not know. Has been smeared on the walls and messages have been written to us. Only then they do not like Sammy. Also, now this is a very good little showcase. Since we're playing on easy, it will show us what the dolls' names are. So here you can see this is Monty, this is Zoe. Now, the reason why this is very good is so that you, as the player, can learn what the dolls look like. Because the possessed doll likes to frame other dolls. And likes to make you think that it's another doll. So now, since we are playing on easy, we can see that this is actually not Maggie, right? This is Freddy. In this case. And in Freddy's case, we have Maggie. Now, this is a subtle little thing that you will learn to know. Like, you will learn to recognize these dolls. You will learn to recognize Bill, because he kind of looks like Bill Nye the Science Guy. Pale-faced Max. Bastian, who looks a little bit like JFK. Amy, who looks very sweet. Ricky, who looks scary. So, the doll also likes to move others. It's moved its or you remember what the whiteboard said? It's moved itself. That could be a very clear hint that it is Maggie or Freddy. Although since I played this game a little bit, I know that Freddy is not a big fan of moving other dolls or itself. If Freddy is the culprit, very little gets moved. So my big suspicion is on Maggie. Let's go check if this theory checks out. And here we have Maggie. Maggie the traditional. She is enemies with Rudy and Sammy. She hates Dolly, Flora, Lucy, Zoe. Dolly is dead, remember that. Sammy, I believe it was Sammy's case, is cracked, right? They dislike tea with enemies. They love blood. And they like to move themselves. All of this checks out. But it could be another one. So let's narrow this down and take away any suspect it couldn't be. Look here, it can't be Freddy because Freddy dislikes moving self or moving others. He also dislikes blood, which makes Freddy not a suspect. Bill dislikes blood, so it can't be Bill. Max likes tea with enemies, so it can't be Max. Same with Bastian, tea with enemies, so it can't be Bastian. Penny likes tea with enemies, so it can't be Penny. Bella dislikes blood, so it can't be Bella. Now the likes and dislikes checks out with Daisy, although Daisy has nothing against Dolly, and Dolly is dead. So it can't be Daisy. Same with Evie. Most things checks out, but she has nothing against Dolly, so it can't be Evie. Alright, now we've narrowed it down some. With the clues we have, I've been able to deduce that it has to be either Monty, Ricky, Victor, Maggie, or Ivy. So instead of 20 suspects, we're down to 5. Let's see if we can narrow it down some more. Monty has nothing against Dolly, so it can't be Monty. Same with Victor, nothing against Dolly. And now I also know that the doll has moved itself. And out of Maggie, Ivy, and Ricky, only Maggie was moved. So I'm saying it's Maggie. Let's skip the rest of the night and go to sleep and see if our theory pays off. And white showing up front windows means that we made it until morning. Now, most doll hunts won't be over in one sleep. For every time you sleep, more stuff happens in the house. Let's go into normal and just check out the differences. Now, the first thing you'll notice on normal is that the whiteboard is completely blank, and it will stay so. Any clues you have to pick up on yourself. The dolls, they stay the same. So, Bellas will always have dislikes, these dislikes, the same enemies, the same hates, the same friends, and sometimes loves and partners. There is a special game mode that randomizes all of that. But for me, a very big part of this game was kind of learning each doll. You can enter the house, you can enter the crime scene and be like, this really feels like a Daisy job, you know? Oh my goodness. So, this tells us some things. 1, the doll dislikes organization. And it's also put the TV on. That's 2 clues, right there. TV, like, dislike organization. Now let's see if we can find any cracks or if we can see any dolls having been moved. Freddy's back in Freddy's case. And here we go. We have a crack in Bastian's case, which means that they are enemy to Bastian and also enemies to Maggie. Other than that, from what I can tell, the dolls are in the places the dolls should be. So every doll is in their own glass cage. So they have a dislike for Maggie, dislike for Bastian, they do not like organization, and they like the TV. That's a lot to go on. Let's head back to the van. Now what you can do also is you can set certain traps for the enemy or for the doll. You can turn on the music, which I might not even recommend because amplifies the scariness of this by a billion. But let's do it. Oh, I clench my whole body so hard whenever I just run through this house. So what did we say? Bastian... This is the hardest part about playing this game, is remembering who actually had what. Bastian had a crack. Who is below Bastian? Bastian and Sammy? Oh, I need to run back and check. No, Bastian and Maggie. Alright, got it. Let's head back. Lock the hatch, otherwise the dolls will come out and eat you. So, they must have a hate for Bastian, and they must have a hate... Or sorry, they must be enemies with Bastian, and they must be enemies with Maggie. They like the TV, and they dislike organization. So, with those 4 clues, I've actually been able to narrow it down to only Monty. Monty fits all of the bills. Now, this was a lot of clues for, like, the first hour. If we hadn't been sure, I could close the door and sleep an hour more. You can do 8 sleeps. After every sleep, you get some more clues. But Monty really fits the bills. He is enemy with Bastian, he's enemies with Maggie. He dislikes organization, and he likes the TV. Let's see if I'm right or not. Let's go for the final sleep. And hopefully, it's not the final. Boom, there we go. It felt like a Monty job. Now, this might seem easy, but it is a lot up to the RNG. How obvious the clues are, which clues you're getting. Now, those 4 clues that we got right off the bat on that last one were quite good, because with them we were able to immediately narrow it down to 1 doll. But a lot of times you're left with 10 dolls, 8 dolls, you name it. And you really do need to do some sleeps to get more clues. And I think my absolute favorite difficulty so far is doing this on hard. So you have until 9 in the morning, which if you play on normal or easy, that means that you have 8 sleeps, and then on the 9th you must have the right one. On hard, you start at 6 in the morning, which means you have 2 sleeps, and the third one you must have narrowed it down, and it must be the right one. Nightmare is also fun. On Nightmare, you start on the 8th, on 8 o'clock in the morning. So you don't have a single, like, you have 1 sleep, but you must have narrowed it down by then. You get 3 clues, and this is where it can get tricky. Depending on which clues you get, it's almost impossible, and it is a it is, as far as I can tell it, just a numbers game, or you have to take a chance, because depending on which clues, you don't have enough to go on to really narrow it down to just 1. So it's like gut feeling, one or the other. So my favorite to do this on is hard. Then you also have random, where everything is randomized, but as I said before, one of the key things I really liked about this is like getting to learn all of the dolls. And random kind of throws that out the window. Then you have race, where you have to beat it all in... set them on time, I think get 3 minutes. Then you also have an endless mode, which is a score mode. We can see here the Diabolic Panda has managed to do 134 nights. Back to back on a 3-minute timer, which is very impressive. Very impressive. Overall, I really enjoyed my time with Doll Impostor. That's what they call it, right? Yeah, Doll Impostor. And I'm not super much into these type of games. I played Phasmophobia quite a lot. I never really got super hooked on it. But I don't know, this just does a lot of things right, and figuring out which doll it is genuinely fun, and like getting to know all of the dolls. So here immediately we can see that all of the cases are open, so it likes to open cases. And on the little board that tells us about the dolls, that counts as open box, if I believe right. So if they have dislike box, we know it can't be them. I don't see that anybody is moved. Bill is in his right place. Is that all we have to go on? Or is there a crack? Yes, there is. There's also a crack in Bill's case. So we know that they are not a big fan of Bill. Let's see if there's any more cracks. Sometimes the cracks are much harder to spot when the boxes are open. So with that, we have something to go with. Open boxes and a dislike for Bill. Alright. Now, I don't want to make this video too long. I'm trying to get a lot more snappy. I'm trying to hit the golden zone of around 15 minutes. So I'll leave you all with it there, but I highly recommend you checking out Doll Impostor. I think it was like $5 on Steam. You have a lot of fun for those $5. You have 2 maps and more stuff being added into the game. You have the house, which you've seen me run around in, and you also have the circus, which I thought was just gonna be like a change in scenery, but like it actually is very, very different. It's 20 completely different dolls with completely different personalities. So just when I thought I had started to like learn the dolls, I'm like, oh, now I also have to learn about 20 clowns. And this map is a lot harder, especially on the hard difficulties. The things you're supposed to spot are more subtle, but it is a really great one. It really adds into the replayability of it. Like, and if they can keep this level of quality on the content and keep more maps coming out like this, I'm super excited to see what this game has to bring. Also, almost all of the likes and dislikes on this map are completely unique, and so like even the preferences of the dolls are unique when it comes to the clowns. And for every time it's a new clown that's the perpetrator. So like if it's B now and it's never been B before, if I solve this case, I get to take B with me home and put her in the safe room, which is a neat little feature. So yeah, check out Doll Impostor. I found it super freaking fun. And I promise you, it didn't scare me at all. Oh! Fuck. Until next time, peep, if you enjoy this, please feel super free to leave a like and a follow. Have an amazing rest of your days. Goodbye.